gonna go for like a bluish, shades of blue. I like using different shades of the same color, so it's not like one big solid thing, for lack of a better word. So I'm just gonna swipe this on and kind of see what happens. As I say, I don't really want to like get a big solid one color background. I just want something to get rid of some of that intimidating white page on the back. And there's plenty of these little cards over there by the paints if y'all want to play with them. It's always, it's an easy way to lay down some color because you can do like little, well, I have too much paint to do little, but so you can do like little marks, like if you're, especially if you're going in like a column Bible where there's little spaces, you just put less paint on there and you can make like little paint marks, or you can make the big swipes. And it makes it a pretty thin coat, so it dries really quick, and it's usually slightly transparent. I'm not saying you'll be able to read the words through it, depending on the color, so that is, take it as you go. But you can see how I can see the colors. You can see the dark blue through there. So it's also something to think about when you pick your colors, is if you're gonna lay them down and you're gonna be able to see through them, think about the colors you're using together, so you don't end up with like two colors that kind of make this weird muck when you see through. And it's like when I did the other page, I was showing y'all I used like a really scruffy dry brush, and I'm kind of a big fan of the texture of that too. So if you have paint brushes that are all like scary looking, you know, like when and they're all like, you know, like I'm never gonna say, and you want to throw them away, those are the brushes you keep for texture. Okay. That's your good stuff. I actually use those probably as much or more than a regular paintbrush. They're all like messed up on the end, like they're having a bad hair day. Like I said, this is just like our bottom layer, so I'm not doing anything. Might need more blue by the time I'm done with this. Just kind of get some. And the nice thing about acrylic paint, so especially as you start adding the stencils, or if you use a brush, you can get a more solid coat of paint. So the other layers aren't necessarily all going to be see-through like this one is. So like I can come back on here with a red or an orange or yellow and make it where I'm not going to be able to see the blue all the way through it. It's just kind of a fun, weird, abstract, scruffy texture thing going. But there's something fun too about just letting yourself play with something and not trying to, you know, get a specific image and, you know, be very precise about things. Something about not using a paintbrush is a little bit more freeing. Okay, so I think I'm good with that. Okay. So y'all notice this is gonna dry really quick. I do have dryers over there if anybody gets like really gloppy paint and it doesn't dry. There's some dryers over there, but this will only take a second because it's really thin. So when we're putting the stencils on, we've got some extra makeup sponges over there too. These are from Publix, and they're pretty cheap. Pretty cheap there, but the Dollar Tree has them too, and they're great for putting paint or ink through stencils. And they're cheap. But the main thing when you're putting paint through a stencil is you want to get a really, really light coat of paint, because if you get it gloppy, it's going to ooze up under, and then you just end up with a blob. So I think this is my drippy rainbow stencil. which is why it's red, I used for like blood dripping on a Redeemer page. So keep in mind, you don't have to use the whole thing. Like this is another one, it's got all the little tiny textures in it. So I mean, you can just hit little bits and pieces of that stencil. You don't have to use the whole deal there. And it's already dry. All right, so this is said, I've been doing Genesis, so we'll do a rainbow. And I have a cool drippy rainbow stencil, so why not use it? So y'all see, I'm just putting a little bit on there. And again, this is craft paint, so it's gonna be a little transparent since I'm not doing a thick layer of it, but I can do another. I come back again, or I can make it a little thicker. That's better. It's better to do 2 layers than it is to get it real gloppy. As I said, then it kind of defeats the purpose of the stencil and it gets messy. Is anybody going to the retreat in Savannah in the spring? You are? Anybody else? I'm just curious. Okay, so we took our plastic card, dipped it in some paint, swiped the background. This is the quick expedited version. We played with our stencils, using a makeup sponge. You don't want to get it on too heavy so it doesn't get all gloppy up under the stencil. Use as many colors as you want. And then we came in with some bubble wrap and put the white dots in the background. So that's where we're starting at right here. So I'm gonna go in, since we're talking about grace today, and I'm gonna go in and lay down the central kind of word here and then work the rest of the layers around it. So I kind of go in the air, figure out where the word's gonna be. You can pencil it in if you want to. I'm not really that patient. Just basic, kind of cursive.
Oh, I thought you were going to use this here.
And then we'll go back and thicken up the letters. So we're just thickening up where the downstrokes would be.
You got white, you said? It's kind of a cream.
I'll connect them a little bit. We got some grace going on.
On the grace.